Good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
So, students, yesterday we had done the points, and now in this video I am going to explain the subheadings guiding values of the Indian Constitution. It means what were the values, what were the, you can say, ideology which guided all the making of the Constitution of India, that they kept in mind that we have to introduce such type of law, such type of rules to govern the citizen of India. So what were the basic idea behind that? So we are going to discuss it in guiding values of the Indian Constitution. Second, we are going to continue the dream and the promise. Can anybody give me the idea that when in politics we use this term, the dream and the promise? Who used to give you the promises before the election? Who used to give you the promises that if they will be in power, they will be in the government, they will provide you so things, they will provide you the employment, they will provide you the education, proper means of living. The candidate who raised in election, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
You have to understand that the dream and the promise. Dream, the dream of the country people. Here we are talking about all these subheadings. We are relating with the India. So the dream of the people, the citizen of India, what dream they are having, that after getting the independence from the British Empire, now what sort of country they are dreaming, that now they are free, now India is free, India is democratic. Now not only free, India is having its own set of constitution. So what they want, what is their dream, that if after the implementation of the constitution, what sort of enjoyment, the liberty, the freedom, the equality. So it is all about the dreams in the mind of people. Or as far as the constitutional maker also, only then they will be able to draw a wonderful, equal manner constitution which is full of laws and regulations. Okay? And the promise, that the promise which they have given to the country people, that after independence, what sort of Indian politics will be there, what sort of administration will be there, where everybody will be having an equal opportunity and equality. So you can see that you can take any example from the Indian Constitution. Even this preamble itself gives us the model that everything is written in the preamble of the Indian Constitution, which gives us the idea that the Constitution is based on the equality. This equality never be compromised in every law, article or clause of Indian Constitution. They remember that they can come up with a variety of rights. Right to education, RTE, RTI, right to information. These are the various rights that when we take any one right, we can see they are not limited within a particular caste or religion or the set of or the gender. Every constitution, how our Indian politics should be governed, what are the rights of the elected representative, what will be the limitation of the representatives. Limitation should be there. That's why they divided the Indian polity in three main organs. First is legislature, second is executive, third is judiciary. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So among these all three, which is the supreme? Judiciary. Judiciary. It means in front of the law, or you can say in front of the court, Supreme Court, everybody is equal. This is the beauty of Indian Constitution, that for us, the third one, the third organ, that is judiciary, is supreme. Okay. So how? Under this heading, we are going to explain that institutional design. We need an institution. We need the particular institution so that all the things which has been written in the constitution will be channelized, will be implemented in a proper way. Suppose you can take the example of your own school. We have made a plan that we will open a school. Okay. So first of all, we will decide from which to which class in the opening. Okay, you have decided, okay, first to fifth class. Then you will decide how many sections for each class. Then you will decide how many teachers. Then you will decide which board, CBSE or Hindi medium, whatever. Then you will make a plan, and then finally you will also give that, you will provide, or you will mention the designation also. That first of all the principal, then the coordinator, and then the teachers. So there is a system that, so that the responsibility will be divided. And when the responsibility will be divided, if everybody is liable, responsible to do their work, smoothly the functioning will be there. Yes or no? Then the work will be done in a proper manner. So that they have framed the constitution for India. But ultimately, how it will be implemented? Who will check it? Who will be the people who cross-check that whether whatever instruction is written in the Mahatma Gandhi ji has written the Young India magazine in 1931, and although directly he was not the member of the Indian Constituent Assembly, but his way of thinking, his way of vision to see the India is involved in every rules and regulation of Indian Constitution, because he was a great, you can say, personality. Under his leadership, India got freedom. I told you, so many agitations. You can see what is all about Young India. What he has to return Young India. In Young India, he has given the article, he has given the writings, so that the Indian people can fight against the British people in a non-violence manner. Got it? He never wanted any type of bloodshed, any type of physical fight. He always wanted a discussion and a peaceful manner. We people of India want freedom from the British Empire. So that's why Mahatma Gandhi ji was a great figure, okay, in the Indian nationalism. Now, he had spelled out what he wanted the constitution to do. He also written in the Young India magazine, he written, which was published in 1931, he written that what thing he wanted, that what sort of constitution should be framed for the Indian people. What he has written, I shall strive for a constitution which all will release India from all thraldom and patronage. I shall work for an India in which the poorest shall feel that it is their country, in whose making they have an effective voice, and India in which there shall be no high class. What a beautiful thought. Okay, and no low class people. So again, what he wanted? He wanted there shouldn't be any type of discrimination. Yes or no? On the basis of gender, on the basis of economic status. So again, he is talking about the equal opportunity, equality. Okay. So that's why they are saying, although Mahatma Gandhi ji directly not taken the membership of the Indian Constitution, but his idea was taken by all the constitutional makers of India. Okay, they have taken this vision in their articles, in their laws, in their all the clauses of Indian Constitution. Understood? And India in which all communities shall live in perfect harmony. Mahatma Gandhi ji wanted, it is his dream that I want personally now, after making the constitution, such type of society should be framed in India which is full of brotherhood and harmony. The same thing like Nelson Mandela ji. South Africa, he also wanted that I will live for that goal, and if there will be need, I will die for that. He said that or not? The same thing is Mahatma Gandhi is saying that I also want that Indian Constitution should frame in such a manner where they will provide equality to the people. Okay? Doesn't matter which caste, which gender, and which economical status the people belong to. Okay? Then he said, there can be no room in such an India for the course of untouchability or the course of the intoxicating drinks and drugs. Women will enjoy the same rights as men. I shall be satisfied with nothing else. Everything he has given in Young India. He said, women. And I don't want that there should be any casteism in the society as the earlier. I don't want the people will recognize as the untouchable, that the higher caste people. Okay, as the society was divided in four type of status: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So he, according to Mahatma Gandhi, he wanted that I don't want that anybody will feel bad that they belong to the lower caste or the lower category. I want everybody will be treated equally after the implementation of the Indian Constitution. So Constitution should be framed in such a manner that these people shouldn't separated from the mainstream. Okay. Second, I also want that now in the Indian Constitution we should remember the rights of women also, because they are also very important. They are also having the same right like the men. So women also provided the voting power, and they were also treated equal manner like the male in India. on to the Jawaharlal Nehru, giving his famous speech to the Constituent Assembly at the stroke of midnight on 15 August 1947. Okay. So it is very important, student, that when India got the freedom, okay, at midnight, Jawaharlal Nehru ji, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji has given his speech that how his country people now feeling, how they have got the freedom after 200 years. 200 years is not a short period of time, students. You can imagine the life which we are blessed today. That how every now and then we feel we are happy because we are free. Our country is secure. We all are democratic. So you can just imagine that for 200 years what sort of condition was there, and how our Indian, you can say, freedom fighters suffered. There are so many people whose name is not written in the book, but still they sacrificed to achieve the freedom from the British rule. Understood? Now this is very world famous speech of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji, that when he addressed to the Indian people after getting the independence on 15 August 1947 at midnight. Okay, what he said? Pick up the pencil. Long years ago we made our ties with destiny, and how the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge, not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. Yes, we addressed the country people at midnight at 12 p.m. on 15 August 1947, when all the people, entire world, are sleeping, enjoying. My country people are now feeling happiness because they are free now. So they are not seeing that this is a midnight. They are enjoying their freedom. They are wake up at the midnight, because it is a great pleasure that after struggling so many years, at last we got our dream come true. We got our dream come true. He said that a moment comes which comes but rarely in history, when we step out from the old to the new. Further, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said, at last we got the moment, at last we reached at the moment, at the time, and it can't be seen in the history. It is so rare. It is so rare, but we had achieved, and we stepped out from our old to new. Old, we were slaves, and now we are citizens. We were subjects, and now we are citizens. That thing he wanted to tell. When an age ends, and when the soul of a nation, long suppressed, finds utterness, he said, now the time has come up. And yes, 2 centuries, 200 years means 2 centuries. When this 2 centuries, when this time period come to an end, although it was so tough, it was so challenging, but at last this time has been changed, and now the soul of the nation. Now the soul of the nation. Who are the soul of the nation? The country people. Yes or no? The society people. Now the soul of the nation, it means the people of India are enjoying their freedom, their liberty in their own motherland. So it is remarkable. It is remarkable, and it is the feeling which can't express in the words. Okay, although he is trying, but he is himself is so happy. Okay. Now, it is fitting that at this solemn moment we take the pledge, underline, we take the pledge of dedication to service of India and her people, and to the still larger cause of humanity. 3 things: dedication to the service of India and her people. Her people means, her means here, by for whom the Jawaharlal Nehru ji used her. The motherland, Bharat Mata. We represent our motherland as a female. Yes or no? This used to say na Bharat Mata. So he said that now after getting our independence, we should take an oath. Not only the representative of India will take an oath, the citizen of India should take an We all are human, so we should remember that we have to remain the humanity in our character, in our nature. Okay, and as you know, the idea service before self. Service, humanity means, you can relate it with this quotation, service before self. It is all about, if you understand this quotation, you got the meaning of the humanity. You will got the meaning of the humanity. That ma'am, humanity, what do you mean by humanity? We all are human. Whatever we are doing, it is also that we are doing humanity. No. Humanity means service before self. When you reach at the level, and it is really very tough and challenging. Okay. When in your life you reach at the level where you think for the people first and think for you after that. Got it? So it is really, let's say, these the characteristics which cannot be found in the common people. Okay? So when we used to behave like this, that service before self, it means we are following the idea of the humanity. Got it? Okay, so you can see that what sort of speech Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji has given on midnight of 15 August 1947. Now, he further said, freedom and power bring responsibility. Yes, he also educated the people. Although now we are free, but don't forget that when we become free, okay, and when we are having the powers in terms of rights, now we have changed our recognition, we have changed our identity from the subject to citizen. And when we are saying citizen, it means we are having equality, we are having so many rights. And at the same time, when you are enjoying your rights as a citizen of the nation, remember, it also involves so many responsibilities on your shoulder. It doesn't mean that you are having the powers of rights so you can enjoy in such a manner that it will be autocratic. No. All the time you have to remember that the other people are also having the same rights. You cannot violate, you cannot disturb the other person's rights because he is also having the same identity. He is also the citizen of the nation. Yes or no? That's why he said that powers and freedom brings responsibility. The responsibility rests upon this assembly, a sovereign body representing the sovereign people of India. Before the birth of the freedom, we have endured all the pains of labor and our hearts are heavy and with the memory of this sorrow. Some of those pains continue even now. Nevertheless, the past is over and it is the future that beckons to us now. He said, although so many people of India sacrificed their lives. Okay, we have so many freedom fighters who are so young. Even countless people whose name is not mentioned. I told you in the history book, but still they have sacrificed their life. Okay, they were humiliated, they were physically and mentally punished by the British people. But the spirit was continued to get the freedom from this British. So we should not forget their sacrifices. Although we are having the deep scars in our hand, in our mind and in our soul, there is a great pain. Okay? Because it is very easy. From by birth we are enjoying our democracy. But just think for some moment that how many people sacrifice their life in the young age so that we can free and we can live our life with full freedom. Who has sacrificed? Our freedom fighters. Okay? So we should remember all the time that we shouldn't complain all the time that we are not having this, we are having so many challenges. How? The greatest challenge already is sorted out by our Indian freedom fighters. Now, you are free. There is no discrimination. It is itself a great happiness, okay? That you are living in a country where you service of India means the service of the millions who suffer. Underline. Underline this statement. The service of India means the service of the millions who suffer. He said, now the oath which we have taken that we will serve our India, we will serve our motherland, it means we are giving the true tribute to our freedom fighter. Okay. Now it means the ending of poverty. Underline. Service of India means it means the ending of poverty and ignorance and disease and inequality of opportunity. The ambition of the greatest man for the generation has been to wipe every tear from every eye. What a wonderful thought. That now, who will be the representative? He or she will try that there shouldn't be any lack of the basic needs in the community, and one should try to just wipe off the tears from the people's eye, that they will be blessed with the basic things in their life so that they can improve their condition. Okay, such type of thing we said, and that may be beyond us, but as long as there are tears and suffering, so long our work will not be over. He said, it is not easy, but I am speaking that we have to achieve that every single citizen of India will be happy, will be well qualified, will be physically and mentally healthy. It is not easy. But remember, our duty will not fulfill if the single person is not having the proper basic availability